So good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Beautiful sunny day outside. And today my guest is Paul Ryan from the Auxilia Group. So Paul, great to have you on board and thanks for investing some of your time to talk to me.
Thanks, Tom. Lovely to talk to you today. As you say, sunny day and lovely to have the invite. And I suppose as I mentioned here, we're just going through a merger. So it's a good time to have a chat with you and just fill you in on who we are and what we do. Be delighted.
Well, that's exactly my first question. So can you tell the listeners here, what is it that you do and how long you've been doing it?
Yeah, so we I suppose up until 31st of March, I was part of a consultancy business called Auxilia Consultants, myself and my business partner, Michael Broderick, and we've been operating in that since 2016. It's primarily a consultancy business, but we did a bit of placement, and we've merged with a group called the Grey Matters Network, and the Grey Matters Network were founded by Tony Devine, Mick Furlong and Declan Hughes, and their business model was around placing experienced associates and professionals into C-suite roles in organizations on a contract or placement basis. And they also did some consultancy. So I suppose between us both, there was a synergy of a larger number of clients, a larger number of associates, and a core consultancy and a core placement offering, if you like. So we started talking in December last year. We completed a merger by the 31st of March. So if I'm looking tired, it's because we've been through that process and we're in the middle of integration at the moment. But it's a really exciting time for our business. We've a new scale as a result of the merger. We're investing a lot in terms of our back office and our front selling team, if you like. And there's obviously a huge demand out for talented people at the moment in the marketplace. Obviously, the jobs market, it's unprecedented in terms of the number of people that are advertising roles. So we have solutions for our clients, which are basically very experienced, seasoned professionals that can go in on a contract, consultancy, or project management basis to work with our clients. And our clients see us as an extension of their workforce, where they can reach in and tap into that experience that we have on a required basis, if you like, and they can turn the tap on and off as they need to in terms of accessing that resource in an agile and flexible way.
Excellent. Yeah. So we're in kind of similar thing, offering a service, albeit slightly different type of service to the end users to help them grow their businesses, which is great. So tell me, can you just give us an idea? Can you describe who your best customer would be? Give us an idea of who your best customer for you would be.
Yeah, well, we work across a lot of sectors, and just given the founders' backgrounds, we're pharma, healthcare, food, fintech. We have people in core technology, people with sales and marketing background, if you like, utilities and construction. So quite broad experience, and our network has come from all of that, if you like. So our sectors are quite broad. The ideal clients for us, and we do work from SMEs right up to large corporates. So again, quite broad. And we're I suppose the ideal client for us is one that's going through change. And I don't think there's an organization in the country that isn't going through some level of change, particularly after COVID. So those ones that are going through rapid growth, need extra resources or need particular experiences at particular times in their journey. They tend to come to us to say, hey, Paul, I need someone for this, or I need somebody for that for this period of time. And that's what they're accessing. And in some cases, they can't afford a full-time resource, so they'll take that resource in part-time, if you like, to help their business for that journey. And then as they evolve, they come to us for some different type of resource based on that need, if you like. So, those clients, we're looking for build long-term relationships with them where they keep coming back to us based on the developing needs of their organization.
Excellent. So you mentioned the word change there, and that's something we and Action Coach talk about an awful lot because the world has changed due to COVID, etc. So what would you say are the biggest one or two actions that you've taken due to the pandemic in your business?
Yeah, I think for us, the thing that struck us, Tom, was, our client base, and, we were quite lucky, and it was probably not in a planned way, but it was quite diversified, again, just given the nature of what we do. And as a result of COVID, we weren't affected where all those businesses were closed, if you like. So we'd some that were going rapid growth because they were either servicing the HSE or they were working in the healthcare system. So we were able to support them in that growth trajectory that they were on. With others that was business as usual, but working in a different way. So they needed help to navigate that. And then we had others then that were closed and effectively on their knees, and they were trying to plan for a reopening or trying to plan for the future. So they all needed help, and we were in a good place to be able to help them through that period. We did a lot of work with the local enterprise, the IDA, and Enterprise Ireland in terms of all the different supports that they rolled out for business. So I suppose COVID from that perspective was quite good, and we had to ramp ourselves up to be able to help those businesses. And it was great to be able to give something to them. I suppose we all ended up living with Zoom and Teams and all the other Google Meets, etc. So like that's something that was heavily used, but we're still using it in our business, even for this call here today. And that's something we'll definitely hold on to. It has its place, but I think everybody's keen now to get out and meet and greet and do it in a safe way, but just get out and meet people again, particularly biz dev or relationship building or general networking. There's a real appetite for that, we're seeing. But I think we need to hold on to some of that technology to really be productive and interviews, screening interviews, stuff like that, not bringing people 2-3 hours for a 15-20 minute conversation. It's just let's do it quickly and be more efficient. So I think there's been some good stuff that's come out of it. Absolutely.
So you've been a business owner for quite some time. You're in the corporate world for quite some time. Being a business owner, what's the biggest learning you think you've got?
Yeah, I think when we're in a corporate, and a lot of our associates, they're all a lot of them have worked in corporate, and they're looking for a different sort of journey now with to be able to share their experience, but they don't want to be flying all over the world, or they don't want to be doing 80-hour weeks. Having said that, when you're consulting and responding to client needs, you still end up when you're working for yourself. Bank holidays don't mean the same anymore. It's a different mindset. You don't work and just pick up the paycheck regardless of the performance level. Like when you're invoicing clients, you have to make sure you're bringing value to them. And that's something that's very different in terms of mindset of our business. And I suppose overall, just as a business owner, and having worked with so many different ones, just having the resilience. You'll have a lot of curveballs and things coming at you, but you just have to stick with it and keep working hard at it, and you'll get there. And I think there's lots of supports out there as well. So reaching out for support, whether it's to the likes of Auxilia Group or your business, not being able to afraid to go seek and ask for help, because whatever problem you have, somebody else has had it at some stage, through their career or life, and that's a big thing, to be able to be comfortable enough to go look for help. I think people.
I think that's huge, Paul. I think it's absolutely huge. It's something I didn't do myself back in the day when I was running my own businesses. So yeah, asking for help. It's okay to ask for help. I think that's kind of huge, and say, what harm can come of it? Just ask. Yeah, fantastic. So tell me, when you were growing up as a young lad, is this what you always wanted to do?
Yeah, so it's funny. I'm an accountant, Tom.
Oh my goodness me!
And I thought that was what I wanted to do, and I do still love the numbers, and a lot of people get into business. It's a good base to have, if you like. And I was crunching the numbers, and for a good few years, but someone told me to get out of it. They told me I had a personality, so I kind of did. And I moved on from it, but it's always a great base to have. Any conversation with any client, they're looking at their turnover, their margins,
the numbers,
cash generation, funding, making, there's lots of failed businesses, not because they weren't good ideas, it's just they didn't have the cash flow to be able to sustain the growth or whatever, or sustain the model. So it's a great foundation to have. And I suppose that's what I kind of wanted to do. But I love what I'm doing now, and I think most of our people as well, they have a passion for what they're doing, and they want to impart that to people and be able to really help, and that's intrinsic, particularly in the consulting.
It certainly helps if you enjoy what you do, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. And you get, I suppose you get a bit more choice, if you like. It's like any job, there's parts to it where there's always the mundane pieces or whatever. Apologies, that on silent, but that's there's for us it's around picking projects that you're interested in, picking jobs that you're interested in. I love the idea of meeting a new client and kicking off a new project with them on Monday morning. Like that's what I suppose gets me going, and a lot of our people as well. It's just that variety and that excitement of being able to help somebody through their journey. And sometimes it's words of wisdom.
Exactly. And tell me, what have you learned about yourself along this journey, either positive or negative?
Yeah, I was always a hard worker, Tom. I kind of, and that was kind of ingrained in me as young, and even having the flexibility to take time off when you want to, when you're working for yourself. I still don't do that or do it as much as I should, but this just kind of, I think that's something that's, it's kind of built into you, if you like, and particularly when you're growing a business, but it's it's just a value, I suppose, and just being available for your clients and being there for them when they need to talk to you, and so on. Now, I take my holidays and I take my time, but I have that sort of responsiveness requirement to say, hey, if somebody's on to me today, I'm either going to get back to them today, or I'm going to tell them I'm going to talk to them first thing in the morning. But they're going to get some sort of communication with me that I'm going to be back to them, and that. That's I suppose work values and how you operate and how you deal with people. So
but it's a people business at the end of the day, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If somebody's ringing you, they're ringing for a reason. They're looking for something.
Exactly.
They're looking for guidance. They're looking for advice.
So a couple of things then. What would you say to anybody here thinking of starting or going into business? Would it be that point about, ask for help with what would you say would be the strongest thing you'd advise?
Yeah, I think for me is to have a plan, and like we do a lot of that business planning with our clients, and and I've seen it done extremely complex, where you have the 40-page Word document and version 15, and all these people are inputting different pieces and big complex spreadsheets, and it doesn't need to be that complex. You can keep it very simple, but you need to cover all the bases on it. You do need a financial plan. You do need a resource plan. You need to know where you're going. You need to understand your market. So all those headings are relevant, but you don't need to have a thesis on it. And it's just doing it first and foremost for the business and yourself. And a lot of people do it with a view to, I need to go to the bank for a loan, so I need a plan, or I'm applying for a grant, I need a plan, or I'm looking for an investment, I need a plan. You don't need it for those. You need it for yourself to make sure that the business can work.
Absolutely, 100%.
You might have yourself convinced, but you might have a few blind spots. You need to have a lot of it figured out, or certainly know what you need to navigate, and then from there you can build it on. But it's without a plan, I think you're really in trouble, and otherwise you're just finding it, and that can be really costly. And sometimes the best businesses are the ones that aren't started at all, because it saves you a lot of money wasting it, because you can quickly learn that someone tried it, it didn't work, or it's not a viable proposition, or there's too much competition and it's very hard to make a living in it, or whatever it may be, but that's all through research and talking to people and really exploring that. But again, even that planning process, as I said earlier, you can reach out for help on that. People can help you with it. But
couldn't agree with you more.
Plan. We did our merger, we had a plan.
Yeah.
It was to be done by the 31st of March. It was done because everybody knew what we were going after, and if you have that and the willingness, then you'll get there. But if you don't have a plan, it'll run, So that, for me, that's probably the most important thing. It sounds really accounting rather than, the entrepreneurship of, hey, let's just wing it and see. But I think most entrepreneurs as well, like they all have a plan, where they want to go,
Yeah, absolutely. Paul, words of wisdom there, very sage advice, I have to say. So lastly, can I ask you, have you any offers that you'd like to include in the newsletter or in this video to potential clients that may see this?
Yeah, no, look, that planning process there, we have a training workshop that we do with people in relation to that. And what we try and do with people is, start them at the start of the morning, but bring them through a structure that by the end of the day, they have a framework and they have the bones of a plan, if you like. So that can be an existing business that's planning for the next 12 months or the next 2 years, or it can be a new startup, if you like. And that's a program we do for €1,000. And it's morning to evening, if you like. And, as I say, we give them support beyond that, if you like, but it's something that we do as a product. So we're happy if any of your people want to contact us in relation to that, to give them a discount of 10% in relation to it.
Isn't that nice? Well done. Thank you so much. So to contact you, auxiliaconsultants.com is your website.
That's right, yeah. And again, post-integration, we're creating a new website there for Auxilia Group. But if people want to email me, it's paul@auxiliagroup.ie.
Fantastic. Paul, thank you so much for sharing with us today. Really appreciate you taking the time. And I think all of our listeners will get some value out of this. And wish you the very, very best in your merger.
Yeah, that's great, Tom. Thanks a lot and have a good afternoon. Really appreciate your time. Thanks a million.
Thanks very much, Paul.
Yeah, bye-bye.